Are you a fan of twin stick shooters? Want a new type of twin stick shooter with a decent story? Check out my review of Freakout, Calamity TV, coming up next on Mumbles. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Mumbles. On today's Mumbles episode, we are doing a game review. And today's game review is on a game that just launched recently. It is a twin stick shooter, and it has a lot of character to it. That game is called Freakout, Calamity TV Show. So let's talk about that. Freakout, Calamity TV Show is a game that is available on Apple, Windows, and Linux computers, and can be picked up for the price of $13.99. Now, the creators themselves read the description of this game as Freakout, Calamity TV Show is a juicy top-down dual-stick shooter inspired by old arcade games and more recent die and retry shooters. In a disturbed dystopia filled with mutants and killing machines, you're the star of a reality TV show which might get a bit too real. Fight your way through the deadly enemy waves, join the revolution, and take down the evil Fizzy Corp. Features: fast and intense action will blow your mind. Challenge your skills from homeopathic level of difficulty to the overdose of enemies. Crazy dialogues and characters, talented artists behind. Killer soundtrack you cannot play through without headbanging. 2-player couch co-op to double the fun. 19 levels with varied gameplay, so close to 20. 5 chapters with badass boss fights. Beautiful 3D graphics to display all 13 sexy enemy types. Customize your gear with various weapons and hero modifiers. So that is what this thing reads. In my own words, guys, this is one of those twin stick shooters that we've all heard about. We all know what a twin stick shooter is. It's top down. And basically the goal of this game is to not die and kill the enemies. So if you get touched once, you're dead. Very simple idea, but is it a good game? Let's find out. First off, let's talk about the graphics, the soundtrack, and the control. First off, let's talk about the graphics. The graphics in this game are well done. For it being a top-down game, I usually don't expect much of graphics from a top-down game, but I have to say, they did a really good job, and it was very, very impressive what they did with the graphics of this game. They're crisp, clean, and just look nice. Soundtrack-wise, this game has a quirky little soundtrack that I really do enjoy. It's all custom-made music for this game as far as I can tell, and some of it is themed around Fizzy Pop. Now, control-wise, this game is a twin-stick shooter. You can use the mouse and keyboard, which is what you see me using currently, only because I did not have access to my controls at this time. But you can also have full controller support for this game. Now let's talk about the gameplay. This game is just like any other top-down twin stick shooter. The only difference is if you get hit once, you're done. 1 life, and then you have to start from the checkpoint that it gives you. Not a whole lot here to talk about in the gameplay section. There are various enemies, and there's a lot of enemies coming at you. There are 3 different difficulty levels, but the only real difference between those difficulty levels is how many enemies it sends at you. Obviously, with the lowest difficulty sending the lowest number of enemies at you, and the highest difficulty sending a ton of enemies at you for you to kill. Now, whether or not you can survive or not is up to you. And this game is rather difficult. On the twin stick scale, I would say this is one of the more difficult twin stick games I have played recently. But it does have a nice little characteristics to it, and I do enjoy the story to this game. It has some very well-made characters in it. They're quirky characters, and I've used that word now twice, but it's a quirky little game that has a lot of character to it. The characters are memorable, the dialogue is memorable, everything about this game is memorable. So in that regard, gameplay-wise, this game has some good points to it. Now I'll talk about the cons. The first con for this game is that this game is not anything we haven't seen before. You know, twin stick shooters, there's hard to do much with them that hasn't been done before. I mean, especially if it's a top-down game, you can't really jump because you can't expect the character or the player to be able to see where to jump. There's only so much you can do with a top-down twin stick shooter, but they did everything to the max that they could do, and so I'm not really going to grade them down for this, but it is a con nonetheless. My second con is that this game is difficult. This game, even on the easiest difficulty, will kick your butt multiple times before you're able to figure out and get down the controls. Just how it is. My third and final con is the price. At a price of $13.99 for only 19 levels, I do feel like they could have done a little bit more with this game, and that is going to reflect on our score in the next section. Now let's talk about my overall score for this game. Freakout, Calamity TV Show, you're a very interesting little top-down shooter that I'm really impressed with. Now, I'm not going to say that it's the best top-down shooter I've ever played, because I've played a lot of top-down shooters, and I'm sure that I would be mistaken in saying that it's the best ever. But it does have a good story. It has a good soundtrack. It's got good graphics. It's got all the makings of a good game. So even at 19 levels and $13.99, I have to say I was really impressed with this game. So much so that I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 on our Mumbles review. It is not the greatest game ever made, but it is a solid game. And I definitely recommend if you like twin-stick top-down shooters that you check out this game. Anyways, guys, this has been my review of Freakout, Calamity TV Show. And I hope you guys all enjoyed this. Please smack that subscribe button, smack that like button, and smack all those buttons. And I will see you guys all in the next video. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care.